Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, updated Articles of Association. Background: following the resolve of many Yorubas to have their own independent nation outside of the Union, we now known as Nigeria today, quite a lot of individuals established various groups and organizations to pursue the dream of achieving an independent Yoruba. Many of these groups and organizations formed were thus working at cross purposes, which meant that many of the activities were duplication of each other. The net result of these many organizations led to many drawbacks and at seldom times causing weariness to the many Yoruba patriots of the self-determination struggle. It is for these reasons that the idea of the YSDM was thought of as a collaborative body for identified leaders of the Yoruba self-determination organizations to have a framework for achieving the task ahead after several consultation and closed doors virtual meetings. The Yoruba Self-Determination Movement (YSDM) was established on the 7th of August 2021 and thereafter inaugurated on the 23rd September 2021. After 2 years of YSDM existence, the need arose for structural changes to the YSDM. A structural revamping committee was put in place and unanimously rectified by the Council following the conclusion of their assignment. This body was constituted to update the Articles of Association to reflect the revamping structure. Article 1. Name. The name of the organization will continue to be Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, YSDM, Àjọ Ajìjàǹgbara Orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá. Article 2. Purpose and objectives. Section 1. Purpose. The purpose of YSDM is to achieve sovereignty for the Yoruba nation. Section 2. Objectives. The objectives of the organizations shall follow as follows, but not limited to: proactively engage with the Nigerian state using available instruments provided for by the international laws and organization. Proactively engage with the international communities through diplomacy, share beliefs, and common interests to facilitate trust, respect, honesty, and open relations between Yoruba self-determination groups, to work towards the common goal of independence for Yoruba land, to accelerate the process of Yoruba self-determination, to collaborate with all Yoruba self-determination groups. Article 3. Structure of YSDM and membership criteria. Section 1. Structure. The Yoruba Self-Determination Movement (YSDM) shall operate under the following reverse structure: the Yoruba Self-Determination General Council, the National Cabinet otherwise known as executives, the Yoruba Self-Determination Department, the Yoruba Self-Determination Secretariat, countries, state, and local government (YSDMs). Section 2. The Yoruba Self-Determination General Council (YSDC). The Yoruba Self-Determination General Council (YSDC) shall be the legislative organ of the YSDM, hold oversight authority over and receive regular periodical report from the executives, the department, the secretariat, countries, state, and local government, YSDM, and the national and the deputy national leader, the chief personnel, meet periodically as outlined in these Articles of Association and execute others' duties set forth in these Articles of Association. Any proposed to amend these articles shall be made by the Council. The YSDM shall determine the accession of the new members and the exclusion of the member organizations or individuals where necessary. A YSDM member can reassign at any time, but reassigned or excluded members or their legal successors shall have no right on the assets of the YSDM. Unless otherwise agreed, all act and written binding on the YSDM shall be approved by the Council. The supreme organ of the new YSDM structure shall continue to be the General Council or the YSDM Parliament. It shall be composed as follows: the national leader, the deputy leader, the chief of personnel, the general secretary, the assistant general secretary, the 13 cabinet secretariat, representatives from the following: 5 representatives of each of the 8 states of the homeland, namely Ekiti, Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Osun, Kwara, Kogi, and Oyo, total 40. 2 representatives from Ishekiri, 2 representatives from the Yoruba of Akoko, Edo, United Kingdom 5, United States 5, Canada 5, France 2, Germany 2, Italy 2, Belgium 2, the rest of Europe 2, Benin Republic 2, Ghana 1, Togo 1, Cote d'Ivoire 1, South Africa 1. Note: the number of representatives is subject to amendment as they grow in membership upon proper review and council approval. Henceforth, YSDM regions shall be identified in the following way: YSDM Lagos State, YSDM UK, YSDM Benin Republic, etc. The National Cabinet, otherwise known as executives, the Council shall by majority vote establish the YSDM executive, which shall be referred to as the National Cabinet. A. Composition: the National Cabinet shall comprise of the National Leader, Deputy National Leader, the Chief of Personnel, General Secretary, Assistant General Secretary, and the 13 Cabinet Secretariat. Duties of National Cabinet: the National Cabinet executive decisions of the General Council, recommend policies for the General Council's consideration, and represent YSDM as necessary. Meetings: the National Cabinet shall meet as necessary but no less than once in a month. Selection of the National Cabinet members: aside from the founding national leader, Professor Adebanji Akitoye, whom the founding council selected, the succeeding national leader and all members of the National Cabinet shall be nominated from within the council or any YSDM organ, nominated by an individual or member organization, and confirmed by a simple majority vote of the council. The national leader: the national leader shall be the leader of the self-determination struggle and the national cabinet, provide leadership with regard to the purpose, aims, and objectives of the YSDM, appoint a deputy national leader to assist in special duties, represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people, represent the YSDM with the third parties unless otherwise set forth in these articles or agreed by council, and perform other functions that may be ascribed to his office. The Deputy National Leader: the Deputy National Leader shall be appointed the national leader of the self-determination struggle, represent the national leader when he is not available, provide leadership regarding the purpose, aims, and objectives of the YSDM, represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people, represent YSDM with third parties unless otherwise set forth in these articles or agreed by council, and perform other functions that may be ascribed to his office. The Chief of Personnel: the Chief of Personnel shall serve a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Provide leadership regarding the purpose, aims, and objectives of the YSDM. Represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people. Represent YSDM with third parties unless otherwise set forth in these articles or agreed by the Council. Preside over the General Council meetings. The General Secretary: the General Secretary served a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Be the Secretary to the General Council and the National Cabinet, coordinate the Secretariat, convene the General Council meetings according to the meeting calendar approved by the Council, and where necessary, convene meeting as directed by the National Leader or as determined by the Council. The Assistant General Secretary: the Assistant General Secretary served a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Support the General Secretary as needed. where the General Secretary is unavailable, shall assume the duties of the General Secretary. Section 4. The YSDM Department. Each department shall be headed by the Secretary of State that shall be a member of the National Cabinet and shall serve a term of 2 years, renewable for an additional term. Provide leadership for each of their representative department, represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people. Each member organization shall nominate from among its ranks the individuals who shall serve in the various departments. The Secretariat shall review the nominations and make final recommendations to the Council for approval after thorough vetting. The Yoruba Self-Determination Council, YSDC, shall by majority vote establish the following standard or permanent department: Security Department, Finance Department, Legal Department, Project Management Department, Publicity and Media Department, External Affairs and Diplomacy Department, Youth and Sport Department, Agriculture Department, Membership Department, Education Department, Culture and Tourism Department, Awareness and Mobilization Department, Harmony Intervention Department. Note, every department shall be headed by a secretary, otherwise referred to as Secretary of State. Expectation of the Secretaries of State and the Chief of Personnel. All Cabinet Secretaries are members of the National Cabinet of YSDM. Their first duty is an unfaltering loyalty to the Executive and the General Council of the YSDM, and above all to the Yoruba Nation struggle to liberate itself from the destructive stronghold of Nigeria. Their second duty is to deliberately, resolutely, and dutifully always, in all situations and circumstances, view themselves as important leaders of the Yoruba nation who must uphold and promote unity and harmony among activists of the Yoruba self-determination struggle and among all Yoruba people. Their third duty is to consciously and dutifully elevate and uphold the Yoruba nation and its painful needs of these times as more important than personnel, sectional friendship, locality, regional or geographical considerations, and therefore to be prepared continuously and harmoniously to render the specific duties that have been assigned to them in the Yoruba struggle, and to ensure that others of their cabinet colleagues will be able to do their assigned task without obstructions or difficulty. Their fourth and highest duty is to live consciously and consistently in the knowledge that today's Yoruba struggle is the Yoruba nation's last standing ground in this world, and that if the Yoruba nation is to survive and continue to exist, this struggle must simply and absolutely end in a Yoruba victory. Duties of the Secretariat of State. Security Secretary: oversee Yoruba self-determination organizations that have security wings and promote their working together for effective protection of the activities of the Yoruba self-determination struggle and security of the Yoruba homeland territory. Work closely with all Yoruba security departments, secure resources to the organization in funding, equipment, welfare, resources, national information. Provide regular report to the YSDM Executive. Finance Secretary. Control the management of all funds and account of YSDM. Establish new account for YSDM as directed by the YSDM Executive. Promote existing fundraising programs of the YSDM. Create other fundraising programs for YSDM as directed by the YSDM Executives. Oversees the progress of the Yoruba Central Account. Establish a trustworthy and transparent system for the custody and disbursement of funds. Recommend officials to manage YSDM funds and accounts. Make nominations to the YSDM executives and control all such officials as directed by the YSDM Council. Provide regular reports to YSDM executives and council. Legal Secretary. Take control of all legal needs and issues of the Yoruba self-determination struggle through YSDM. Coordinate legal action on behalf of the YSDM. Ensure compliance with the YSDM rules and regulations. Establish a register of lawyers to be on standby voluntarily or a retainer. Provide regular and periodic report at either the executives or the council. Project Management Secretary. Advance existing development projects such as the creation of the Yoruba National Bank, youth farm project and work closely with the appropriate secretariat for effective and successful implementation. Promote any new project. Report regularly to the YSDM executive and the council. Publicity media secretary. Coordinate and harmonize the publicity for the YSDM. Inform and sensitize our people on the YSDM purposes. Execute mobilization towards the YSDM goals. Identify, mobilize media houses and press release. Provide regular and periodical report to the executives and the council. Have control of the YSDM media and communication outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Act as a liaison officer between the YSDM and significant media groups such as Yoruba Nation World Media, Yoruba Nation Homeland Media, and all Yoruba Nation independent media outlets. Provide regular report to the YSDM executives and council, External Affairs and Diplomacy Secretary, to promote broadly and fully the Yoruba cause in international organizations, international agencies, international media, and selected countries, to identify Yoruba in diaspora, either individuals or groups with potential for reaching and interacting with the leaders or rulers of any country, to promote and instruct these about the diplomatic possibilities and to give them the backing of the YSDM for diplomatic effort, to take full charge of and give serious support to already ongoing Yoruba diplomatic effort in any country, region, or world group, to work with media publicity secretary to produce appropriate publications, documentary, newsletter for the use in the Yoruba diplomatic effort worldwide, to plan, arrange, and see to the implementation of diplomatic visit by YSDM leaders or delegations to any countries to reinforce the Yoruba diplomatic effort, to make available to the world approved information on the Yoruba diplomatic effort, to set up a lobbying group for diplomatic purposes, provide regular report to the YSDM executives and council, youth and sports secretary, popularize information concerning the place, prospect, and importance of the youth development programs in the coming Yoruba sovereign state, encourage and support youth programs and activities in the Yoruba self-determination effort, to promote various sport activities among Yoruba youth, promote Yoruba ethics among our youth, prepare Yoruba youth for life challenges, provide regular report to the YSDM executive and council. Agriculture Secretary, provide technical support to the Yoruba farmers and those involved in agriculture to enhance the agriculture business, make serious effort to popularize the youth farm program, evolve plans and program for raising all kinds of support, funding modern farming machinery and equipment, agricultural training to the Yoruba youth, start the creation of Ileto farm settlement, at least one settlement in every Yoruba state, support the Okwetile farming system, provide regular report to the YSDM executive and council. Membership secretary, to keep the executive and the council informed on the membership numbers and relevant statistics relating to the local, state, country membership strength. Keep records of all the activity and inactive groups or organizations in YSDM. Provide regular report to the YSDM executive council. Education Secretary shall be responsible for educational policies in Yoruba land, develop strategies for ensuring quality education for all school children and adult learning in Yoruba land, liaise with the educational institution in the Yoruba land to understand the challenges faced in education institution and how to provide solution, to advise on the development of potential new projects, exploring options for teaching resources, e-learning, and workshops, provide regular report to the YSDM Executive Council. Culture and Tourism Secretary, develop the great campaign on the Yoruba cultural heritage and take it to the Yoruba people and to the world at large. For this purpose, involve educationists and panels of educationists to put together the content, involve the proposed YSDM newsletter, produce documentaries and hold frequent lectures, get appropriate people to write articles for newspapers and hold press conference, expose the rich cultural tourism potential of Yoruba land, use qualified persons from the universities, provide regular report to the YSDM executives and council. Awareness and Mobilization Secretary. Develop a multiplicity of strategies to provide leadership and strength to existing grassroots and mobilization programs and activities in the Yoruba homeland, especially by youth groups, and local government area YSDM Council. Start more grassroots and awareness programs. Plan YSDM rallies in the Yoruba in the homeland, bringing into the effort all the known strength of rallies among Yoruba people. Encourage and promote mass rallies in the countries of the diaspora. Provide regular report to the YSDM executives and council. Harmony Intervention Secretary. Intervene as necessary to conflict among Yoruba self-determination activists. Advise YSDM Executive Council and the YSDM Council concerning general measures that can promote harmony and word of conflict. Provide regular report to the YSDM Executive Council. The Yoruba Self-Determination Secretariat. Members of the Secretariat shall be selected by the General Secretary and the Assistant General Secretary and presented to the General Council for ratification. The number of the personnel to be nominated to the Secretariat shall be decided by the need of the self-determination movement. The Secretariat shall be headed by the General Secretary, provide administrative support for the work of the Council, Department, and National Leader, shall be responsible for the administrative of the YSDM website, facilitating meetings and the agenda of the meetings, engage in disseminating information to the various organs of the YSDM, provide regular and periodical report at the Council meetings. Section 6, the local, state, country YSDM structure. YSDM shall maintain a local, state, and national council. Each local council shall comprise of 2 representatives from each member group of organization. Every state in the homeland shall be determined the number of representatives from each local government in their state. The local, state, country coordinators. YSDM local, state, country coordinators shall provide leadership about the purpose, aims, and objectives of the movement. The local, state, country coordinator shall represent, speak, and act on behalf of the Yoruba people nationally and internationally. Unless otherwise agreed, the local, state, country coordinator shall represent the YSDC to the third parties. Record of the local, state, country meetings. The secretary of every local, state, country council shall maintain accurate minute of all meetings. The minutes shall be contained the names of the persons who were present for discussion, content of the discussion, including any alternative to the proposal, and a record of any notes taken in connection with the proceeding. Membership requirement. Every Yoruba group organization shall be eligible for the membership in their country, state, or local government if it shows the purpose of the Yoruba self-determination to actualize a sovereign and independent Yoruba nation. Each of our self-determination organizations shall remain independent, operate as it chooses, be strong, vibrant, and uncompromised on the demand for our Yoruba sovereign country. Each organization shall register with their country's state or local government of residence. Each local government, state, or country YSDM shall determine membership due and or registration fee. There shall be YSDM charter in every local government of the homeland which is being overseen by the state they belong. Every intended organization shall satisfy such other requirement as may be stipulated by the executive. The Yoruba Central Account Establishment. The YSDM shall, through the Finance Department, establish and administer the Yoruba Central Account, YCA. Purpose. The YCA is to be the central fund for the Yoruba. It shall be a master fund beyond small fund created by individual organizations. The Yoruba shall be the beneficiary of the fund for the causes that include but not limited to the self-determination. Administration. YSDM as a trust shall have trustees to administer YCA through the Finance Department according to the global best practice, keep meticulous record, and facilitate annual auditing by reputable accounting firm. Asset. All assets gathered by the YSDM, including but not limited to the registration fees, membership dues, and all remunerations donated to the YSDM are property of the YSDM, either directly or through YCA monies given to the YSDM and the YCA, either individually or through a member organization, and non-refundable property of the YSDM, its successors, or assigned. Article 5, Meetings and Voting Procedures. Meetings. The Council shall hold general meetings which shall be held every 2 weeks, be facilitated by the Secretary, and shall be run according to the basic rules of order. The Secretariat shall be issue a calendar of the meetings at the beginning of the fiscal year. For reminder, issue notice of the meetings at least 3 calendar days ahead of the meeting. Each department shall have the power to hold their meetings as they deem necessary. Where there is an urgent issue or other circumstances, an emergency meeting may be called by the national leader, deputy national leader, chief of personnel, the secretariat, or by the consent of the 30% of the general council. The emergency meeting shall be run according to the basic rules of order. Notice of an emergency meeting shall be issued to the council as soon as practicable possible under circumstances. An annual general meeting shall be held every September to review activities of the previous year and to highlight the goals and aspirations of the coming year. Voting, depending on the issue, matters to be voted on shall be decided by a simple majority of those active members present and voting at the meeting in which the vote takes place. A simple majority is 50% plus one of those active members present and voting at any meeting. Withdrawal requirement for removal and removal process. Withdrawal by member organization. A member organization may withdraw from their local, state, or country council by a written statement submitted to the secretariat by the secretary of the member organization, satisfying that most of their member organizations have decided to withdraw from the council, and secretariat shall promptly inform the council accordingly. A member organization may recall a nominee to the council by a written statement submitted to the secretariat by the secretary of the member organization, satisfying that the majority of that member organizations have decided to recall a particular nominee to the council, and the secretariat shall promptly inform the council accordingly. The representative of a member organization that withdraw or has been removed from the council shall forthwith cease to appear at the council meetings and are not entitled to the removal procedure outlined in Section 3 of this article. A member organization that withdraw from the council may be readmitted to the council upon a simple majority vote by the members of the council who are present and voting at the council meeting. Requirement for removal. Any individual or member organization may be removed from the YSDM upon severe violation of these articles of association or by an act of disciplinary committee due to gross misconduct which potentially tarnish the image of the YSDM, impaired the purpose of the YSDM as set forth in Article 2. Removal process. The process shall begin with the submission of a written complaint to the General Secretary. The General Secretary shall forward the complaint to the Harmony Intervention Secretary, who shall conduct a thorough investigation within 30 days of receiving the written complaint. Upon conclusion of an investigation, shall give 2 weeks notice of a hearing to the individual or member organizations accused to the General Council. The hearing shall be open and transparent to as many members of all the YSDM organs who wish to attend. A disciplinary panel of 7 members shall be appointed by the Harmony Intervention Secretary, comprising of the coordinator and 6 other members. A member of the Harmony Intervention Department who shall not sit on the panel shall represent the case at open hearing. The individual or member organization accused shall be afforded a meaningful opportunity to present a defense and evidence, including but not limited to the witness testimony. At the conclusion of the hearing, the panel shall withdraw for private deliberation and vote. The Harmony Intervention Secretary shall not vote on the panel decision except to break a tie. After deliberation, the panel shall return with a decision based on a simple majority vote, which shall be announced by the Harmony Intervention Secretary. The decisions of the individual panelists, however, shall remain confidential. Confidential and conflict of interest. Confidentiality. All individuals who walk through any of the organs of the YSDM and exposed to sensitive information hereby have a duty of confidentiality. They undertake never to share information about their work publicly or with those who do not need to know such sensitive information. Members of the council, executives, and the secretariat and department shall use good judgment in advising of any information that is sensitive, which shall then be treated as confidential and shall not be disclosed to any person who does not need to know. Conflict of interest. The conflict of interest policy is to protect the YSDM interest when it is completing entering into transaction or arrangement that might benefit the private interest of a member or might result in a possible excess benefit transaction. This policy shall supplement but not replace any applicable laws governing conflict of interest. Every person or entity contracted or transaction arrangement must sign a statement or clause indicating disclosure of any direct or indirect connection to any members of the YSDM, delegate with authority to decide or participate in deliberating a proposed transaction or arrangement. If the person issuing the statement is not aware of any conflict of interest, the statement shall so indicate. Article 8, staff. In furtherance to the YSDM purpose, it has become it has become it has become such it has become necessary to employ staff or contract a professional service. The secretariat or any member of the YSDM may suggest such to the council, which upon a majority vote may employ staff or retain a professional. Staff may be temporarily, permanent, or an independent professional, lawyer, researcher, etc., contracted for a specific temporary project. Upon approval of such recommendation by the council, the secretariat shall determine the scope, parameters, duties, powers, and compensation of the staff or independent professional contracted. Aside from an independent professional contracted for a specific project where there is more than one member of staff, the secretariat shall, as needed, create a structure or hierarchy for the YSDM staff and report this to the council. Article 9, Amendment. Member organizations may propose an amendment through their representatives upon public debate at the general meeting, where members shall be allowed an opportunity to speak on any proposed amendment. These articles of association may be amended by a simple majority vote. Written notice of the proposed amendment along with a summary of the changes to be affected thereby shall be submitted to the secretariat, which shall disseminate it to the council and place on the agenda. After the secretariat receives the proposed amendment, no more than two council meetings shall pass before the general meeting, where the council shall discuss and vote on the proposed amendment. Once an amendment has been voted on by the General Council, this should be updated on the Articles of Association and circulated. Every update shall be tagged by the date, which shall be unique to the document AA 10/04/24, day, month, and year. Article 10, Adoptions of Articles of Association. Adoption. Upon the adoption of the Articles of Association by the Council at the final review meeting, each representative on the Council shall formally adopt these Articles of Association by appending their signatures to the following statement. We, the undersigned, being the founding council of the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, do hereby adopt the foregoing clauses as the Articles of Association of the YSDM. Section 2, Future Members. All member organizations who join the YSDM after the adoption of these Articles of Association do so pursuant to these Articles of Association and agree to be bound thereby. The following are the members of this committee tasked with producing these revamping Articles of Association: Kayode Emola, Secretary; Gani Algbala, Chairman; Sam Oyabayo, Member; Barrister Olasupo, Member. Yoruba Self-Determination Movement, updated Articles of Association.